Okay, good afternoon, teacher and classmates. Today we are going to make our oral presentation. My parents are Leonardo Pan, Daniel Udeña, and my name is Marlon Rivas. Social movements and social change arose historical as consequence of different social crises and present different ideological orientations. Therefore, the objective of this presentation is to speak and discuss about the social movement that exists in the world. For example, anti-war movement, indigenous people movement, and endangered animal movement. To do this, we will mention some differences and similarities of these movements. Please continue, Leonardo.
Thanks, Marlon. Okay, for the indigenous peoples movement, in Uchonya, the community in Ocayali, all the kids dream to be a lawyer and make an impact in her community. But there are a problem, that is that her education in her community is very bad. There are a lot of absenteeism of teachers, and this is a big problem in this community. For the second point, there do you imagine to fight all the day for her rights? Well, it did that this community need to do. They fight for the big company that exploit her natural resource for her rights, like health, property, and their environment rights. For this represents the second point. For the third point, do you see this image? This represents the participation of this community in the politics. It's very low. It's the 2% and 12%. It is a very low, and it represents the second fact, the third fact. Well, Daniel, it's your turn.
Yes, or anti-war movement. A memorable example for recent years is the impact caused by the Nobelian endurance, because it's now that is a protest tactic related to civil disobedience that advanced for the action of political, social, and cultural change without the need to use the violence as a political weapon. I totally the condition for peace to be a permanent state and serve to inspire human relationships. I would present more or less long, very long to be an empire in time capable of being transformed. The two continuous appearance of this pacific movement in amplified actions to animate the putting pressures of government and later ending in a different war, treaties, and social support. The momentum of the movement from the was a part of a process was now tend to shape an artificial culture.
Okay, um, endangered animal movement. Firstly, let's look an experience. Before the pandemic, my family and I offered financial assistance to an association of endangered animals in Lambayeque. Its name is Corax Peru. This is a great example of how we can financially support endangered animals and enhance their condition. Secondly, do you think it is essential to create belonging with animals? In National Geographic in Spain, the Dr. George Fallers affirms that it is essential to create a sense of belonging with animals, because an emotional involvement is necessary that drives us to action. In this way, you can join an association that protects animals in danger, as being a volunteer also helps this movement. Definitely. Another important factor is visiting shelters that protect endangered species. We can use the volunteer work platform, which will get you to find the shelters that require a visit. For example, assistant at the Animal Rescue Center, it's located in Cusco. So assistant in Huancayo and many other shelters, not only in our country, but around the world. Let's continue, Daniel.
Yes, Morgan. On the moment, comparison and contrast. For indigenous people movement, anti-war movement, and endangered animal movement. For these three movements, are they different like the group? The first is centered on the indigenous people, the second in the victims of war, and the third the animal but also have their similar life, their fight for her rights. For the equality for a vulnerable group, no matter if one of the K and human or animal, citizens or indigenous.
Thanks, Daniel, for finish this. The main ideas of these three movements are the three fight for her own right, fight for her community, fight without violence, and fight for the right of the animals. And the final message is that all the social movements it are based in the social justice because these groups are affected with the social problem and all need to listen to her fights. Thanks.